Dipanshu Mohan, what is the context? Fine, let's for a moment say that, look, Rahul Gandhi is right. In some obscure parallel universe, he is right. If I wanted to underline and give him a fig leaf, where would I begin? If you were the Congress Party's national spokesperson today, in the face of all these statistics, the evidence that I am showing you, the physical evidence that you are seeing before you, how would you defend him?
Okay, that's. Thank you, Rahul, for having me here. First of all, I would probably abstain from being a spokesperson of the Congress Party. It has far too many
It's not that difficult.
problems.
I mean, come on.
Yeah,
Look at Nikhil Jain. He comes
quite
out swinging every day. It's not that difficult, for God's sake.
So I would say the
difficult job.
following. The only two things that I get mostly worried about when I look at the structural composition of growth at this point of time is broadly in two spectrums. One is urban consumption demand and the process of employment rate, particularly amongst the youth who are aspiring to get absorbed across organized sectors for greater employment opportunities. There's also a shift in rural-urban migration where a lot of the people working, migrating, and migration is a big issue in the Bihar elections, as we all know. A lot of the absorption of the migrants is happening in the gig economy. Construction is not absorbing as much of the migrant workforce as it did at some point of time. And there are sectors which perhaps because of capacity issues are not seeing the amount of domestic private investment that otherwise would be quite possible.
Okay.
Which is why we need strong partnerships with international trade bankers. On the India-UK trade agreement, I must confess, it is one of the most well and comprehensively negotiated agreements I have come across. I must compliment the trade negotiators on this one. It in fact sets a template for India's broader trade engagement with other countries. There are two reasons for this, Rahul. One, it is not an agreement which is focused on a goods-only partnership. It goes beyond commodities.
Okay.
And India's strength is not in commodity-based exporting of goods. We know that because the data tells us that with the UK, we do a lot more on services. The US, we do a lot more in services. Mm-hmm. But the very important thing about this agreement, which is what I feel it has a future dimension to it, is that it focuses a lot on value-added manufacturing and high-skilled services.
So,
which means you need at a domestic level a lot more of intersectional reforms, particularly in higher education, where the gap between the academy and the industry is a huge gap.
But that's also an opportunity. That's also a major opportunity.
Absolutely. So and I would be happy seeing the 9 vice chancellors coming in from the UK, setting up institutions here.
Well, good luck.
While at the same time, you would want a greater.
But just one